The pop of red that this flower radiates let us know that Christmas is here. It's the flower that symbolizes goodwill and community spirit. Today is celebrated as National Poinsettia Day, and as we get closer and closer to Christmas, let us consider this beautiful flower as we decorate our houses for the festive season. Hello there, and welcome to another Monday's edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Adrian Atkinson. On today's show, we explore climate-smart technology and how best to produce food in changing climates. Please stick around. We have lots in store right after this quick break.
My message to Jamaica as we enter into the festive season, that is what we want to make it festive. We are somewhat tired of seeing persons just killing each other. We want to see a reduction in the violence. Now is the time for love. Remember, the reason for the season is about love, it's about giving, it's about sharing and caring for each other. So we want to have a season where we see less murder, less shooting, less robbery, less violence among each other.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Monday, December 12, 2022. The country's first anti-corruption tip line was activated on Friday in a bid to engage the public in the fight against corruption and organized crime. The number is 888-MOCA-TIP or 888-662-2847. It was launched through a memorandum of understanding between the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency, MOCA, and Crime Stop. Director General of MOCA, Colonel Desmond Edwards, says the fight against corruption is much broader than law enforcement and requires an empowering of citizens to get involved.
The participation of our citizens will enable us to develop good information, good intelligence, ultimately good cases, and then we will have the kind of outcome we all crave as a country.
Colonel Edwards says the cost of corruption globally is estimated at $2.6 trillion annually, and Jamaica loses $750 million of that figure annually. These funds, he insists, are usually diverted from critical developmental programs. Among the contributors to corruption are gang violence, trafficking of arms and narcotics, and cybercrime. Crime Stop chairperson Sandra Glasgow stresses the integrity of the organization for the past 33 years in protecting the identity of citizens.
We have remained resolute in our mission to detect, reduce, and prevent criminal activities, which is similar to your mission of identifying and targeting major organized criminal networks and public sector corruption in order to improve security and governance in Jamaica.
A public education campaign will get underway to familiarize persons with the new anti-corruption tip line. Technology Minister Daryl Vaz is calling for an immediate suspension of copper export under the scrap metal trade. His call comes against the background of repeated theft of fiber optic cable amounting to millions of dollars in losses to telecoms companies. Minister Vaz says he will be writing to Industry Investment and Commerce Minister Aubin Hill to formalize his advocacy for a pause on the export of copper. Speaking at a recent press briefing, he gave assurance that this issue would be a top priority going into the new year to protect the investments of stakeholders.
I want to send a very strong signal, and those who are in this room and those who are listening know that when I say something, I don't take it lightly. And this is an absolute priority for me as minister and my ministry.
In the meantime, the technology minister has announced that new measures will be implemented early next year to prevent the use of stolen cell phones. One of the proposed measures is for major network providers such as Flow and Digicel to disable stolen phones once reported to prevent phone thieves from accessing the devices. Minister Vaz says the Telecommunications Act is also being revised so that fines for theft and vandalism are included.
Of course, we will go to the maximum fines that are allowed in the parish court, which I think is between $3 and $5 million, and 3 to 5 years imprisonment. And second offense would be 5 million and up to 15 years.
The technology minister asserts that the new measures will be a collaborative effort by all stakeholders, including the Jamaica Constabulary Force, to ensure their success. With the Road Traffic Act 2018 and the Road Traffic Regulations 2022 slated for implementation in February next year, motorists are being urged to cooperate with the rules of the road. Portfolio Minister Audley Shaw says the transportation sector is now in a transition period and requires a cleanup, especially in the areas of indiscipline and outstanding traffic tickets. He says a special program is being considered to provide a time frame for payments to avoid any disruption in the sector when the Act and the regulations take effect.
What I need from all of you, after we have this special program of transition into our new system, our new act, our new regulations, what I want, your commitment, is that you're going to follow the rules.
Minister Shaw was speaking at the Transport Operators Development Sustainable Services launch of a 40-day road safety campaign. The data shows that up to December 8, 444 persons have been killed in 386 fatal collisions. A breakdown reveals that the top three categories with the highest number of fatalities were motorcyclists, accounting for 134 deaths, pedestrians 96 deaths, and private motor car drivers 80 deaths. The regulations passed earlier this year make provisions to better apply the principles and purposes of the new Road Traffic Act 2018. The regulations cover areas such as fitness, registration and licensing of motor vehicles, licensing of drivers, certification of driving instructors and licensing of driving schools, as well as traffic signs, speed limits and rules of the road. And finally, the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, is expanding its Drumadiggate initiative through a partnership with Hardware and Lumber, H&L. 200 drums will be distributed per month for 12 months to selected communities under a Memorandum of Understanding that was signed last week. Executive Director of the NSWMA, Audley Gordon, says the partnership will allow the agency to strategically place receptacles across the island for persons to dispose of their garbage responsibly. He is encouraging Jamaicans to exercise care and consideration for the management of residential and commercial waste.
We must take personal responsibility for where we live, for where we shop, for where we work, for where we walk. We must be responsible for the solid waste that we generate.
Managing Director of H&L, Marcus Richards, says this public-private partnership will assist the NSWMA to deliver a first-class waste collection system.
We consider this again a civic duty and will continue to stand beside the organization for as long as we can.
Launched in November 2020, Drumadiggate aims to encourage proper waste disposal through the containerization of garbage to reduce mosquito breeding sites, infestation by rodents, as well as garbage collection time. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
You've asked for it, and now it's here. The Jamaica Information Service has updated its mobile app. It's easier to navigate, loads even faster than before, talking about top speed, operates seamlessly across platforms, and we're a creative bunch, so it's much easier on the eyes. Now you have quick and easy access to news stories, television and radio features, and a variety of photos right at your fingertips. And you'll get push notifications when new content is uploaded. Download the app on your Apple and Android devices now and get news you can use. Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica on the go.
One of, if not the most important element of Christmas that we look forward to each year is the food. But as the world we know and its climate changes, food shortage is an ever-increasing threat. Let's learn about how best we can work on securing our food supply to keep everyone fed all year round, including at Christmas.
With a degree of increasing urgency on our actions to combat fast rising temperatures and slow sea levels eroding closer inland, what we do about climate change today will matter. The effects of climate change are far-reaching, and food security is one of the areas affected. As protecting our food security remains a high-level priority, climate-smart agriculture takes on increasing importance. This way of harvesting food uses better farming practices to reduce its contributions to greenhouse gas emissions, while increasing production output. Smart agricultural practices include reducing deforestation, better soil management, and intercropping. Climate-smart agriculture practices are intended to achieve three major outcomes. 1. Increased productivity. More food is needed to feed the global population as it continues to grow exponentially. Equally important is ensuring sustainable incomes for farmers, distributors, and key players driving the agriculture industry. Data from the World Bank indicates that 75% of the world's poor who live in rural areas rely on agriculture for their livelihoods. Number 2. Resilience to climate change threats. Increasing severe weather conditions caused by a warmer Earth means more drastic impact on agriculture output. To prevent this from happening, farmers can implement these practices, changing crops and livestock to ones better suited to the climate, and using technology to develop resistant variations of foods such as rice and bean plants. 3. Reduce greenhouse gas emissions, caused by farming inputs such as fertilizers. Sharply reducing the use of fertilizers that produce gases such as carbon dioxide and nitrogen through crop rotation practices is one green-checked option. To truly practice proper climate-smart techniques, the dialogue must be tailored to the different climate experiences across the world. In Jamaica's context, areas of major concern include the island's vulnerability to hurricanes, flooding, and droughts. The government has been implementing several programs at the community and national levels in partnership with regional and international agencies. The mission is to build climate resilience in Jamaica's agriculture sector.
We are investing $230,000 US in partnership with the Caribbean Agricultural Research and Development Institute, CARDI, for a pilot program on climate resilience, on the expansion and upgrading of seed storage facility at the Bodles Research Station. This is important. This facility is going to house the best quality seeds, including our own seed source from locally developed and indigenous landrace types for vegetables, cover crops, field crops, and legumes.
The Bodles Research Station is just one aspect of Jamaica's strategic plan to ensure sustainable crop production through proper seed storage. Planting crops conducive to the rainy and dry season is another climate-resilient food security measure.
Our goal is to encourage our farmers to plant more, but not just to plant more. We want to plant the heat and drought-tolerant varieties of crops, such as cassava, which are more suitable for our climate.
In the fisheries sector, several fish sanctuaries have been declared and fish farmers trained. Meanwhile, the Jamaica Forage Club recently partnered with the United Nations Development Programme UNDP to train 600 youth farmers and fishers on how to utilize agriculture practices that will withstand climate change and how to recover quickly from its impact. The 6-month pilot project will run from September 2022 to February 2023. A major part of implementing smarter farming practices is the collaboration of all partners involved in this sector. As more information emerges, followed by more robust action on climate change policies from countries across the globe, the agriculture sector will be in a better position to meet the food production demand.
Role of the DRF in violence prevention in our society is to mediate. We believe that mediation is really a very good thing in terms of resolving disputes at the court level, at the parish court level, and at the Supreme Court level. Now, let me tell you about some of the matters that may come at the parish court level. You and I live in a tenement yard and a fight. We report the matter to the police, it goes to court. The judge may say, well, you know, you are just probably a teenager. Go to mediation and see if you can get a settlement. Because if you can agree, then you won't have a criminal record. We urge everyone, all our offices, come to our offices, no matter how simple the matter may be. Come to us, we have persons who are trained.
Having a healthy diet is very important, especially now during the holidays. It's particularly important if you're dealing with conditions such as diabetes. Let us not neglect our health for a few extra slices of Christmas fruit cake. Take a look now at how to best manage diabetes through a balanced diet.
Diabetes is a serious chronic lifestyle disease affecting millions of people over the world and continues to increase. Diabetes affects how your body turns food into energy. It is a disease in which your blood glucose or blood sugar levels are too high, and glucose comes from the food you eat. Insulin is a hormone that helps the glucose get into your cells to give energy. Sometimes your body doesn't make enough or any at all, doesn't make any insulin, and so it doesn't use the insulin well. Glucose then stays in your blood and doesn't reach your cells. Over time, having too much glucose in your blood can cause complications. Example, situations with the kidney, heart disease, and so on. Although diabetes has no cure, there are steps you can take to manage your diabetes and stay healthy.
It is through lifestyle that we manage the risk of diabetes. Those behaviors include increased physical activity, a healthy diet, routine health checks, and strict adherence to medication. The Ministry will be championing the cause of persons living with diabetes. We have updated our clinical management guidelines, which is now available on our website, and we will be working on increasing access to testing through the introduction of point-of-care testing. This methodology of testing is the gold standard for monitoring and control of diabetes. Our agency, the National Health Fund, will continue to support persons through the provision of diabetic medication and supplies, and I encourage persons with diabetes to enroll in the NHF card program to access this benefit.
The person with diabetes should really have an opportunity to sit down with a trained clinician who is able to help them to understand the concepts of diabetes self-management, education, and support. There are 4 core areas the patient must begin to understand. How and when to take medication. That's the first one. If you take insulin, then you need to know how does your insulin work and how do you eat in relation to the insulin. Then there are the people who have type 2 diabetes, which commonly start off with education on activity and just healthy nutrition. And then we add 1 of 5 classes of oral agents. And then we teach them how to make food, how to eat food. Also, we think of things like target blood pressure. Is your weight healthy, or do you need to lose a little weight? And most importantly, how do you feel? What is your quality of life? All of this is what we focus on. Also, when you get your lab work done, what is your hemoglobin A1C? the target should be 7% or less. Keep that number in your mind. Diabetes damages the feet, the kidney, and the eyes at first, and then eventually we also find it can cause coronary vascular disease too. But for foot care, the person with diabetes every day, you wash your feet, wash them properly. Dry your feet, dry between the toes. Moisturize your feet, but do not put moisturizer between the toes. Make sure that you wear cotton socks, right? If you're going to have your toes cut by somebody trained who knows how to cut them. Examine your feet every day. Do not walk barefoot. Please, please, please do not walk barefooted, because if you injure or cause trauma to the feet, you may not feel it because your diabetes has damaged the nerves to the feet. And finally, when you buy shoes that are comfortable and that you can wear without causing blisters or trauma to the feet. Now we have research that shows that I can prevent the eye damage, the kidney damage, the foot damage, and the amputations by just keeping my blood glucose under control and taking care of myself.
Let us resolve our family disputes peacefully. A family is a circle of love, support, and strength. Violence has no place.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
It was Edgar Degas who said, "Art is not what you see, but what you make others see." When was the last time you felt inspired? Well, this holiday season is the perfect time to visit the Art Walk in downtown Kingston with friends and family.
After getting your fresh produce at the Coronation Market, make your way through the busy and bustling streets of downtown Kingston to the edge of the 7th largest natural harbor in the world. What you'll find is an art haven of bright, beautiful, breathtaking murals. Welcome to the Arts Page. You're in for a visual treat. Art has the power to revive, and through this, the once abandoned-looking buildings in downtown Kingston now don freshly painted murals, transforming the area into an artistic hub abuzz with admirers.
My mural depicts a representation of children in the inner city or from inner city communities that face challenging circumstances such as poverty, single parenting, and this shrunken ability to make positive decisions or choices. With that, the mural also depicts through the use of bright colors and the use of playful organic shapes and lines. It depicts this sense of hope and possibilities for change.
My mural is the big green mural with the women and the mushrooms. It's really about sexual coercion and sexual harassment and how these incidents can have long-lasting effects on women as they go through their lives. I kind of show that the idea with the mushrooms and how the mushrooms growing from them are like a parasite and how these issues can affect them.
Ubuntu, I am because we are. This is what I chose to depict for my new mural for Water Lane, and it really just shows the contrast and complement of Jamaica and Africa. So this mural, I wanted to show the difference just between, I guess, our mindset of how we see ourselves and who we were really called to be. So it shows your man and woman, which is your king and your queen, and then also a woman with the baby at her breast, epitomizing just the strength of a woman, and with the basket on her head, a bucket or basket of water. So water is life, woman being the life giver, but it shows even more, the great blue mountains, quote unquote. That's Jamaica, the highest peak. It goes further up. The giraffe, which most people know by now is my spirit animal, but it's also a gentle giant.
What we're trying to do is to remove that stigma and help us to see the beauty of downtown. Downtown Kingston is very, very special. It has a lot of assets through its heritage, its history.
Transforming and rebranding downtown Kingston is the mission of Kingston Creative, a non-profit arts organization.
We're founded in about 2017, and we're really centered around creative people. So our theory is that if you can empower the amount of creative people we have in Jamaica and enable them to succeed, they will then in turn employ people from their families, their communities, and together we'll get, growth in our creative economy. We'll have a healthy creative ecosystem.
You can take a stroll down Water Lane to fully experience, grasp, and get lost in the stories on the wall.
So we've partnered with the KSAC and with the Tourism Enhancement Fund and the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. And we're developing this walkway that goes east-west. It connects our National Gallery on Orange Street, and then you walk along Water Lane and it connects you back with our museums that are on East Street. So it's a natural progression. We used to just walk up and down this lane as we're going on our art walk. And then we started talking to the owners and creating these murals. And now we have about 65 new murals in downtown that we've created since 2018.
Artists and other creatives can also benefit from a creative hub and other initiatives. This includes the recently concluded Catapult program, an emergency grant for creatives.
It allowed creatives to go on an artist residency for 2 months and they were paid $3,000 US. It allowed them to put their work online and they're paid $500 US. It really was a process of giving creatives grants so they could continue creating during the pandemic. We reached over 1,210 creatives in 26 different countries across the region with this partnership with the American Friends of Jamaica. It was our biggest grant to date. We've just signed a $1.295 million US partnership with the IDB. This is a 3-year partnership to explore what happens at the intersection of creativity and technology.
Kingston Creatives is also a new member of the Global Cultural Districts Network and is listed among others such as Paris, London, and Dubai. Thanks to the efforts and partnership of Kingston Creative, downtown Kingston is well on its way to become a vibrant art district and a space for people to really enjoy our rich culture.
That's all the time we have with you today on Jamaica Magazine. Missed aspects of our program? Visit our website, jis.gov.jm. On behalf of the entire team here at the JIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thank you so much for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.